lot of, especially solo entrepreneurs don't realize that, you don't have to hire a full-time person. There's all kinds of ways now that you can add partial team members who are really thrilled to work a couple hours on a project, maybe answer phones.
Yeah.
Right? Upwork is a place I get a lot of people to help me with the work that I do.
Yeah, Upwork's a great resource. And what kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about as far as identifying the time, where you're spending it. That doesn't only go for like doing things that don't contribute value to your business, but that also goes as far as like wearing too many hats. So what I find a lot of times is you've got somebody who's obsessing over, I've got to wear these 7 hats, right? And I can't afford to hire somebody else. But at some point, that's just simply not the case. So if you start documenting where your time's spent inside the business, right? You're running admin, you're setting up production, you're doing project management, you're working with a marketing company, you're answering the phones. If you start saying, okay, make a list of not only things that are distracting you, but make a list of things that you're doing on a day-to-day within your business, and what are things that you can do, what are things that you can't do, right? Now let's take a look at what you value your time at. Is it $200 an hour, $100 an hour, $500 an hour? You start doing some quick math, and it's like you can't afford not to hire somebody to do this stuff, right?
Yeah, not hiring costs you money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you think about that construct of the time you just talked about, 80% of that time could be delegated or could be delivered by another team member, right? So if you think about the value creation of the 20% highest effectiveness, and that's your hourly rate, that other 80%, you're selling yourself at a discount. Yeah. And so if you think about it, what you want to do is, of course you have to do that for some time, but you have to think about putting systems and people in place to do that. I call it 10Xing. So what you always want to be doing is 10Xing your value creation. The only way you can do that and get through that performance ceiling that's holding you back is to get rid of 80% of the tasks that you're currently doing. And you take the 80% that you're not good at or don't like to do and find somebody else. There's somebody else better at it who loves doing it.
That's a good point. Now, what I find is that there's 2 sides of this. There's the folks that hang on to the vine for too long and they're unwilling to delegate. And then there's the folks that get rid of that grind and that moxie that they have too early and they start delegating out too early. If you're running a business, let's say a roofing company, like at what point in time do you say, you know what, I need to hire somebody? Like I can't do everything.
I think as soon as you look and you find that 20% is not being valued properly, let's say that your 20%, that your best ability is the ability to make the sales call, to make the sale, right? Then that's where you should spend your time. But if you're finding out that you're on the roof and you're not putting time into creating that holistic experience I talked about a few minutes ago with the person, so you show up and you're a mess, right? You've been sweating all day. There are people that might be a trust element. So I think what you have to do is really think about when you make that inflection, it's because you're creating more value, right? And I think sometimes it's hard for people because they hold on because it seems like they're back to the money thing. It seems like they're making a little bit more money. And what happens is they're going to find out, gosh, if you took that extra couple hours, how many more sales would you get?
Right.
You'd book 3 more homes and tens of thousands of extra profit. Well, that's what you use that money to hire those extra people. And again, you don't have to hire a full-time person. I mean, there's all kinds of people I use all the time that are working an hour a day, a couple hours a week. They're trying to fit it into their schedule. We live in a new economy where people want to work remotely and they're willing to fit that into their schedule. It might be answering phones. It could be doing some marketing. You help people with their marketing and think about how much extra value you create when they outsource their marketing to your company. It's the same kind of thing. So I think it's hard. And the reality is you're going to screw it up.
Yeah.
Right. We screw it up all the time. I make mistakes all the time. We just fix them.
Yeah.
So that's what we do as entrepreneurs. I mean, I bet you a roofer never puts a perfect roof on that doesn't go, we got to make an adjustment here. Right. There's always give and take in anything. And I think that's the same thing in entrepreneurship is that we're going to screw up. We're going to hire some people that didn't do a good job. We're going to have to replace them. There's times when we held on a little too long. I wish I would have done that 6 months ago. Don't beat yourself up. I mean, that's just part of the nature of running a business is that we're going to have to be agile and keep making improvements.